My top 5 condos you should invest in downtown core. Stay tuned to find out exactly what they are. Promise you, it'll be worth it. Major time, yeah. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. So glad you could join me here today. In this video, it's going to be the last one of the condo series, and I'm going to give you my top 5 condos to invest in. I purposely released this video last because everyone's going to copy me, etc., etc., etc. But the idea here is I've been telling myself and my clients to buy in these 5 condos, and they've been doing very, very well over the last 2 years or so, depending on what time the condo was finished, right? So without a further ado, condo number 1, we have 87 Peter Street. I think this is probably my number 1 favorite condo, and you're going to see in this entire sequence there's a common theme that I'll let you know if you haven't figured out at the end of the video. But 87 Peter is one of my favorite buildings because it is right in the heart of Entertainment District. And like I tell a lot of you, the Entertainment District is exactly where you should be. We've been selling condos for a very long time, and the fundamentals here have been fantastic because you're always right to the east side of Financial Core. You're generally 5 to 7 minute walk away from St. Andrew Station or Osgood Station over here. And you are essentially also a 5-minute walk to King West over here. And you're right in the center of all of it. There's tons and tons of condos that are always constantly being built here. There's very little parcels of land left. There's actually just one parking lot left right now in Entertainment District. And we've been moving product here for a very long time. And to give you an idea of what the Entertainment District is and boxed in, this is what I consider it. South of Queen Street, between University, north of Front, and between Spadina. So there's already a ton of investment coming in here. Pre-cons are at 1,600. We were selling pre-cons in here for like 800 like years and years ago. You got your major buildings coming from the Canadian Pension Fund. They're building a bunch of office buildings and rental buildings that's coming here. I think last year, if I remember correctly, there was a 1,600 per foot at 400 King West. And there's also the Frank Gehry and all that jazz and all the major buildings coming up. Then you also have the 411 Great Golf coming as well. So there's still a lot of development coming, and they're not going to be priced for less than $1,600 a foot. So if you can get into 87 Peter at $1,250, $1,300 a foot, fantastic. Now, if you're on the top few floors facing south, you actually look past the Delta Chelsea Hotel, and you actually have a pretty decent view. And when I say decent, you still look into the condo, but it's not like right up against the other one. One of the views you do want to watch out for in 87 Peter is when you're facing east, because Theater District is coming up, and that's going to block you. Like between the buildings, there's like a small alleyway, and it's like no more than 10 feet. So those are things to watch out for. But as a rentable building, it's got good layouts. It's got very, very low maintenance because it was built by Menkes. It's like super low, and the taxes are very favorable, right? And the units are small, but they're very efficiently laid out, and right in the middle of the core in Entertainment District. Thumbs up. Probably like my number 1 or number 2 in this entire list. Then you got number 2. This one is for the people who have the higher budget. This is 203 College Street. This is literally the closest condo you can possibly get to the UT campus, which is right here. You can walk to King Circle in like 3 minutes, give or take, and you're close to a lot of shops along College. 203 College is built by Parallax, and this was, I think, about 1,000 to 1,050 a foot when we were doing pre-con. And the minute this got occupied, it timed it with the student market coming back perfectly last year. So we were seeing 3 bedrooms for like 4,500, 1 bedrooms for like 2,500, 2 bedrooms for like 3,500 without parking. Now this building, it's so new that we don't really have an idea of how the maintenance is going to be because, you know, buildings that are under 2 years, it's hard to get an idea, right? But the maintenance is not bad. It's at like 67 cents a foot right now, but the rents are crazy. The drawback to this is that you're paying essentially like $1,500, $1,600 a foot right now, and you're not in the core. You're just really close to U of T. The upside to this is whenever I talk to a lot of clients from Hong Kong or China who have kids who want to come to U of T, generally they want their kids to be as close to school as possible because in our culture, there's this thing where you should study all the time and you should be as close to your campus to study as possible because you can't have a life outside of that. That is a thing in our culture. So when they hear that, oh, you can look into the campus from across the street, this is a thing. So when we were selling pre-con for Theory, there's a lot of Hong Kong buyers, and I really think that the Hong Kong buyers will prop this building up, just kind of like they did in the Yonge and College corridor, just because it's so prevalent for students. The cool thing about when you rent to students, minus the whole connotation of, you know, dirty and messes the place up, is that they generally will move out in like 2 or 3 years, so it gives an opportunity to increase the rent. If this is the type of real estate content you enjoy, make sure you help us smash the like button and subscribe to the Prime Props channel, because every single week we put out awesome content about real estate, specifically this one, top 5 condos to invest in, so that we can provide you good information, be transparent, and be honest about really how to make money investing in real estate. So whenever that you think of, oh, you know what, it's time to buy my next investment property, you'd be like, Zen, that guy, and you can book a call with me using the link right here at the bottom of the screen. It's www.chowzen.com. Number 3, 25 Richmond Street East, built by Great Gulf, right in the center of Financial District. This is Yonge and Rich, like Yonge Street and Richmond, not young and like you have a lot of money, rich, but I think that's the play on word they're going for here. So the idea of having a condo in Financial District is fantastic because, if and when offices come back, I still think they will, there's going to be walking distance to everything, right? So when you're right here at 25 Richmond, a good analysis of how a building performs is that there's a building over here on Temperance, 70 Temperance, built by Center Court, and it's done fantastic because it's right at the core of everything. And that building's still doing really well right now. So when you have something at 25 Richmond, you are super close to Queen Street, right? And you're super close to everything else over here in terms of office and kind of like all the office amenities and restaurants. Now, I think a lot of people just don't like the fact that it's east of Yonge Street. Everyone seems to like west of Yonge, but you're 25 unit numbers to the east of Yonge. So I think it's fantastic. And don't forget, you're also really close to St. Michael's Hospital, right? So the tenant profile you're looking for here is fantastic. It's generally doctors or young professionals that are looking to rent. And right now you can get this for like $13.50 a foot right now in Financial District. It's crazy. It's a new building built by Great Gulf. The maintenance fees are still low right now. And I have confidence that Great Gulf maintenance fees are generally pretty good because the build quality is good. And you can look at 70 Temperance and that stuff is trading at like $1,250 and $1,300 a foot right now. So you're paying like a tiny margin premium on top of what it was before, just so you can get a brand new building. I think that's definitely worth it. Super great value. Although when I say value, people would say, oh, it's like $13.50 a foot. It's still good value relative to what the other buildings are selling for how new it is. Number 4, we got 10 York, built by Tridel. This is the triangle building that is right here. Now, a lot of people didn't like this because it was kind of weird, but you can't go wrong with this location. 10 York is right by Union Station. You can walk to it and you can get to all the amenities such as CN Tower. You can get to the Sky Dome, Rogers Center, Scotiabank Arena. You can also walk to the lake, and there's actually a lot of things happening in the lake now. And you can easily hop onto the highway by just going along Harbor, and you go right up Bay. That'll let you go east on the Gardner. If you want to go west, you have to do a little loop-de-loop. That's a little bit longer. But that as a location, fantastic. It really doesn't get better as a location than 10 York. The other things that's great about this is that it's low maintenance fee. You got the whole Tridel cachet. It's built really well. And despite that it's in a triangle, a lot of the units are actually quite squared off, and it's actually pretty good. Unlike some of the other buildings that are, weirdly shaped, the floor plans stay with the weirdly shaped. And actually the triangle ones are actually kind of the coolest too, because some of the higher end units are there and they all face west with really sweet view. Now, if you're facing south on 10 York and you peer past 8 York and some of the other buildings on Queens Quay around like the 25th floor, you have amazing unobstructed water views, like crazy nice. And they ain't going anywhere because you have to tear down condos to actually build on top of it, and that's not happening anytime soon. So those are as good of a view as you can get, and that's why 10 York is a great investment, because it'll hold its value very well. Number 5. This one is another good value play. This is 15 Lower Jarvis and 20 Richardson by Daniels. This is the Lighthouse. So you got the east and the west tower. Either or, same. It's a building that was built on top of the original government, if you're old enough. And this is one of the first few condos that were built in the East Harbor area. So you got a whole bunch of condos coming over here by the East Bayfront, East Harbor area. And they've all been trading at $1,300 a foot even years ago to get started on the pre-con side. You have Sugar Wharf that's coming over here where the old LCBO site is, and there's 4 condos there. The office building is already operational. You're right across from the Loblaws, so that's really great amenities. do keep in mind, Loblaws is a real estate company now, and that will get developed into something at some point. And you have this cool little lobby in between the buildings that kind of reminds me a little bit of Yorkville. It's a little bit quiet right now because, you know, the pandemic, but it could be a really nice spot because they put these little small shops in the front for kind of like little food stores. I think there's a Freshie, there's a bar there, and there's a whole bunch of other amenities for people down here. And this area is kind of booming quite a bit. Now, you are definitely paying a premium at about like $1,300 a foot, but for what you're getting on a new building and low maintenance fee, fantastic. Because when you go around the other buildings, you also got the Tridel buildings here, you got Lakeside, you have a lot more condos coming up that are going to be breaking the $1,300 a foot when they actually are finished, right? So being able to hold on to this condo right now is fantastic. You also have your course building. There's a lot of commercial around there too. So there's a lot of development happening, and 15 Lower Jarvis and 20 Richardson is on the lowest in terms of price point, but the layouts are great and the value is there. Now, those are my top 5 condos to invest in. And here's the underlying theme of all of them if you didn't catch any of it, right? So all of these buildings I've selected are non-rent control buildings, meaning that they were built after a certain date so that if and when the tenant decides to stay past the 1-year lease, you can freely increase the rent past whatever the government dictates is. So in this year, at the time of shooting, 2022, it's 1.2%, which is not going to cover your taxes or maintenance fee increase if there's any. So when you have a condo where you can increase it up to what the market is, it allows you to be in the black and get into the cash flow positive side much faster. And like I was saying a lot in the last few videos, condos have a major upside. They are undervalued right now in Toronto. And the best way to get ahead and be cash flow positive is to buy something that is not under rent control so you can increase the rent in maybe a year or two and be in the black. And you want new buildings because you want low maintenance fees in new ones. Because when you look into old buildings, maintenance fee goes nowhere. It doesn't contribute to your equity or your down payment. And this is exactly why my top 5 condos are by good builders, non-rent control, in prime locations that will retain their value. So hopefully you found this helpful. And if you have any questions of what other buildings we're looking at or whether some of these explanations and condos are right for you, you can book a call with me using the link right here. It's www.childzan.com. And until next time, your move, your future. See ya. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one? Oh, you know what? This one's good too. Ooh, this one's really good. You know what? Just watch them both.